We finally got an update on the Mass Effect TV show. It was confirmed last year around N7 Day, and then this week it got its showrunner, so the show is moving forward. I'll get into all those details, but there's also something else that is more interesting. Daniel Casey posted on his Instagram a picture of him reading Revelation. And this was actually posted on his Instagram a few months ago, but was just shared today on Reddit and I completely missed it. But this is the prequel novel to Mass Effect 1. It follows Captain Anderson and his run-in with Saren that completely changed his military career. Anderson and Saren are investigating the same suspicious activity on Sidon, and Anderson learns of Saren's rogue activities, which result in many people dying. Saren, being the traitor that he is, pinned this on Anderson, which makes him lose his prospective N7 candidacy. Anderson mentions this in-game, and even Harkin repeats the rumor of the events as to why Anderson was seen as a failure. And of course, him reading this isn't confirmation of anything. This could also just be pure research, as Casey has spoken about doing this in the past. He researches his projects quite a bit. So this could just be nothing, and he's trying to refamiliarize himself with the Mass Effect world, which is a good thing. The Mass Effect world in general feels so huge, and yet I don't think we have enough stories that aren't connected to Shepard. A show about Anderson would be absolutely amazing, because Keith David has already expressed his interest in being involved with the show. He could also pass as his character, both in looks and obviously his voice, since he's the original actor. The story, or even just something in this time period, would be perfect for a game. Something not covering Shepard, which is honestly my worst nightmare when it comes to the possibilities of this show. I want something different and new and unconnected to the events that we influence and shape as Commander Shepard in our own playthroughs. A prequel show about Anderson would be perfect. This would also be a good way to introduce new fans both to the Alliance military, the Reaper artifacts, indoctrination, and even the First Contact War, which Anderson was also involved with. I think it would be also promising considering there's enough source material for them to both follow while also filling in the gaps. They could even meet a younger Jack Harper, the Elusive Man, if they covered the First Contact War, which I think is something that I see the most as far as what fans want to see. There's so many possibilities, and I think an introductory story into the world would be the best way to go. Somewhere where they don't have to address Mass Effect 3's controversial endings. Those will need to be addressed at some point, but I think the game will do that. For me, I really do think they should either do a prequel story introducing new viewers to the Mass Effect world and humanity's first interactions with aliens, or they should do a major time jump to pre-Mass Effect 5, if it does take place 600 years following the events of Mass Effect 3, which is a very real possibility. Then they can tell a prequel story connecting to a new companion, or just show us how the Alliance is doing or how Earth has changed. But I do think it needs to be a human-centric show. Number one, because Mass Effect is about humanity's exploration and experience with space and aliens. But also because I think Turian, Krogan, and Quarians, and honestly most of the Mass Effect aliens, will look really stupid in live action. All except Asari. I think that's a major concern for me, is having to look at a CGI Turian mouth moving and seeing the worst case of Uncanny Valley I've ever seen. While Mass Effect's aliens are very humanoid with their body shapes, their faces are not. And I don't think prosthetics alone could work. So I just don't know how it's going to look. Who knows what the aliens are going to look like in live action? My expectations are honestly really low, and that's why I hope they focus on maybe the N7 program, Anderson's past, the First Contact War, the Alliance, and things that are mostly human-focused. I have my reservations about this show, and honestly, my expectations are pretty low. I think most adaptations based on video games are just not very good. I think Fallout is probably the best one, and they made a story unique to their own storytelling, while still setting it in the world and making it canon and possible. I think this is the best route. With following Anderson and a story that has already been told off-screen, maybe being the best second route. I do wonder though, if they did a prequel story to the game, then if the show was successful and got renewed, where would the story then take them? Would they push the timeline of the original trilogy, or jump ahead, or create a new story? I have no idea, but that part does concern me. But I would love to see Anderson, especially considering his fate in Mass Effect 3. People would go apeshit to see Keith David on screen as Anderson, and to hear his voice again. It's me, I'm people, I would go apeshit. I would love this. And it's promising that they're reading source material and becoming more familiar with the world. This is a very good thing. Now let's hope whatever story they make can deliver. Aside from the actual news about the show's development, Doug Jung also joined as the showrunner this week. And honestly, his resume is a bit iffy. He was a writer for Star Trek Beyond, which I found okay. He also wrote for Banshee, which I know nothing about, but it has good ratings. He worked on Big Love, The Cloverfield Paradox, and in my opinion, the one exciting piece of work here is Mindhunter, which I really liked. So, like everyone else so far involved in the project, his resume is okay. There's nothing that anyone has worked on in the past from anyone attached to the project that I find really exciting or encouraging. Daniel Casey's resume is also kinda meh, but he is the most passion behind the project. Mass Effect had a profound impact on him when he was younger, and seeing him read the source material is promising. I'm willing to give them a shot. Again, my expectations are extremely low, but I'm trying to be optimistic, and seeing them reading Revelation does give me a glimmer of hope that the show could be good, and that they're not following Commander Shepard's story. So fingers crossed. Something I do think that is really good out of this news though, is that the show is even moving forward. Honestly, I haven't spoken much about Mass Effect lately, and I have a bunch of videos on hold because I'm scared to kind of continue investing in a game that I'm not even sure will make it to the finish line. EA has been closing studios like fucking crazy, and it's hard not to look at Mass Effect right now and wonder, will they shut it down too? So them actually investing in the show and moving production along is good. It means that EA sees a reason to invest in this adaptation, and you can't have a Mass Effect TV show if the game and studio are shuttered. I see EA putting money into this because it'll help boost her sales of Mass Effect 5, and with the timeline, this show will most likely release close to the game. They haven't even finalized the showrunners and are still hiring people for the project. And most Amazon shows take around 3-ish years to be completed, based on what I could find. So at the very earliest, we could maybe see the Mass Effect TV show in 2028. And I think the game will be releasing near 2029, which is also what Jeff Grubb estimated. I said this on Twitter and people were very confused, because it was so far from now. But Mass Effect 5 was in pre-production, the last news that we got, meaning they'll move into production most likely this year. The show is far away, and the game is even further, so get ready for a very long wait for more Mass Effect. And who knows what N7 Day this year will even be like? Will they end up going radio silent until they have more to show of the actual game closer to release? Or will they actually show something teasing Mass Effect 5? I do feel like each N7 Day, people were growing increasingly frustrated and disappointed. I don't personally feel like this, but I did see Gamble even respond to some people about this. I think because of everything going on at BioWare and past N7 Days, and also with people kind of losing faith in Mass Effect right now, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with N7 Day and what they show, if anything. Will N7 Day be a way for them to tease the next game and maybe the show? Or will it simply become a day for Mass Effect merchandise? Personally, I think they need to show proof of life. Show people that Mass Effect is actually happening and give people something to be excited about. I don't think radio silence is the right thing to do. I also think it makes people like me not want to continue to speculate and theorize around the game if they aren't giving us anything to invest in. Past teases help keep content creators involved in making Mass Effect content, but people were also speculating and the conversation around Mass Effect was still going. But right now, I don't see a lot of that happening. And honestly, mostly everything around Mass Effect right now is really negative. So I hope they give us something to be excited about in November. People want more Mass Effect, which has been made extremely obvious with the announcement of the Expanse Osiris Reborn, a new Mass Effect-inspired RPG developed by Alcat Games. I have a video breaking down everything we know about it, and I'll be covering it moving forward because it looks and feels and sounds a lot like Mass Effect. And unlike Mass Effect 5, it's actually coming out soon. I expect maybe sometime in 2026, which would also put it around Exodus as well. Another Mass Effect-like sci-fi RPG, with a customizable protagonist, choices and consequences, companions, romance, and varying outcomes. We're seeing an increase in the sci-fi genre, and all these games have been inspired by Mass Effect, which has been said by the devs behind the Expanse game. And a lot of the devs on Exodus are ex-bioware. There's a demand for more Mass Effect, and I hope EA sees this. I also hope that all these other games popping up lights a fire under EA and BioWare's ass that, hey, we were inspired by you when you were great. Show us you're still worthy of that. Bring back the Mass Effect that people knew and loved, and the Mass Effect that inspired generations of sci-fi content. I am also firmly in the camp of I want more cakes. I want all the upcoming sci-fi games to be good, and I hope that they are. Whether the Mass Effect TV show is going to be good remains to be seen, but let me know what you think. Does the writer reading the novels give you any hope or optimism about the show? And are you interested in the Expanse game? I think it looks really, really, really good. And I think it's coming at the perfect time to kind of tide the wait until Mass Effect 5 comes out. And there's the shows, the books, and all of this source material for them to build upon to create this game. So I hope the Expanse game is good, I hope Mass Effect 5 is good, and I hope the Mass Effect TV show is also good. I really want to find out more, and honestly, maybe this N7 day, they could reveal a little bit about it? I don't know. But let me know what you think. What do you think we're going to see for N7 day? What do you want to see? And how are you feeling about Mass Effect right now? Let me know in the comments, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. Thank you to my channel members. Thank you all for your support. It's because of you that I can continue to make more videos. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.